You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsealed, the official podcast of Wings of the Eagle. I am Christopher, hopefully your friend, your companion in this journey, wherever you happen to be. I welcome you. I encourage you to say hello and ask any question, make any comment, etc. That you'd like to throughout our time here. Of course, if you're just listening on audio, on podcast, we welcome you as well. Just can't say hi right this second. But feel free to drop us a line. You can reach me directly at Manti4 on X. On the X platform, it's MANTEI4. You can also get me on the End Time Church app, endtime.app. We'll get you there directly. And I have email, but it's not even worth giving out, to be honest with you. Okay, so welcome in. Again, please share this if you can, especially if it's on the Wings of the Eagle YouTube channel. It's really important that we make people aware of that resource or that platform. So please go ahead and do that right now on YouTube. That would be awesome. And as you see at the bottom of the screen, there is a way to support what we're doing. This is all brought to you by you. If you like what we're doing, if you think this is worthwhile, if you're a Christian, you think this is an awesome, different kind of podcast that no other Christian is doing, or very few are doing this type of thing, please show me your support by giving something. You can get something for your giving at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Wings of the Eagle. We have our initial offerings up there. We're making a formal announcement soon about that. And also just directly, if you just want to give because you believe in it, just go to wingsoftheeagle.com/support unsealed. That'll go directly to support the work here. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Much obliged. I see Hey Bond Servant. Welcome to you. Mokul as well. International audience as always. Again, please tell your friends about this. Okay, what I'm going to talk about today is kind of sad, actually. Yeah, it is kind of sad. And see this, like the shirt I chose for myself today. Obviously, I didn't know what I was going to talk about, but it's a pastor friend of mine in New Jersey. This is Operation Safe Haven. He provides homes basically for homeless veterans. It's an awesome thing. He himself is a long-time military service member, even going up to protecting the First Lady on security details. So he knows what this is all about. Shout out to Pastor Donnie. But anyways, I also checked out what Ross Coulthard had put. He just put his speech out from the heck is it called? Scientific Study UAP conference, whatever just happened, or is happening right now, these past couple of days. And the thrust of what he was saying, I'm glad he did it. I'm very glad, actually, that he said what he did and put forward what he did, which is a lot of stuff. It's over an hour long, but most pointedly is, as an Australian, that guy, of course, is not from America, but he made the point to say, you guys in America have to, if you are actually opposed to secrecy and the keeping secrets for the purpose of national security, that's actually hurting your country and hurting your institutions and actually ripping the country into shreds and the Constitution into shreds. If you really are opposed to that, do something about it, because as is, you're not. You're just complaining. He didn't say that. I am. You want other people to do the work. He didn't say that. I am. But he did say you're screwed if you don't. Like, America's gone. if we who are here don't care and continue to not care. That was a paraphrase of what he was talking about. So I'm very glad that he did, because he's right. 100% correct. And I really believe that I've always had an interest, obviously. This past year, we're coming up on almost a year of doing these types of podcasts centering on the UAP UFO issue. It's not because it's just interesting, which it is, as a personal interest, sure, lifelong, interest for me, but I've never really talked about it until this past year, because it was more of an ancillary, kind of a sidebar, not ultimately important. It's really not making a huge difference in the world or in my country, but I was wrong. I was wrong about that. It's made a giant impact, and it's literally torn the country apart. It's among other societal issues and obviously religious issues, but when in the name of national security, you're keeping a decades-long secret. I understand about not publicizing the nuclear bomb, right? Okay, there's a world war on. That's when it started, right? Manhattan Project. We have to. Hitler's working on this. We've got to beat him to it. Like, I get it. But from there, it's just snowballed into a group, however large or small, deciding that they know better than the people of the country and the representatives in the government, which are supposed to be in control of everything. That's what a democracy is, or that's what a republic is, that we have a constitutional republic with separation of powers. You don't get to have power consolidated in one group. The whole point of it, this whole experiment of a country that we have, is to separate the powers. One person or one group cannot be the executive and the court and decide what laws to follow, which is exactly where we find ourselves. Through the various means and tools and machinations of how secrets are kept. We call them special access programs or controlled access programs, depending on whether it's in the military or the intelligence side. Those secret programs are illegal. You can't have them. I mean, they do it anyway. That's what I mean by saying this. You're actually destroying the country you're saying you're protecting. You're saying you're keeping secrets for security's sake. But you're not telling the Gang of Eight, for example, which itself was a compromise because they weren't telling what they were supposed to. What we call the Gang of Eight is 4 members from the House and 4 from the Senate that have to be told every program. That's the law. And there's a very good reason why it's the law. Because there cannot be any secret programs run by any part of the government that somebody doesn't know about, who's an elected leader, who is accountable to the people. That's the point of the Declaration of Independence. That's the point of the Constitution. There is no country without those things. And, again, people are like, hey, what's up, Lawrence? My brother from another mother. What is up, my friend? Yeah, feel free to chime in, you guys. The point is, you're trying to say we're protecting the country. You're actually destroying it, and in fact, it's already done. I don't see a way out of this. I don't. And I get a lot of my again, my tribe or whatever, the conservative, vote Republican most of the time, Christians like me, that's me. We're always talking about saving America, and it's what are we talking about? We're delusional. Nothing to save. There's nothing to save. Right? It's like human nature. Well, don't tell me all the ugly facts. I just want to have my house and car and my retirement. Right? It's all about the economy, stupid. Right? Other than that, do what you will. Don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. Need to know basis. Well, the people keeping the secrets love to hear that, because that means that their psychological operation against you has worked. You're not going to be a problem. And if all politicians do is do these culture wars all the time and don't elect this guy or that guy, and I just have to get reelected, and that's all they're thinking about, they're out of the picture too. Because they're self-fulfilling. The epithet that the national security crime lords tell us is the reason why we're not telling is because the quote unquote temporary employees can't be trusted with it. You know who they are talking about? The temporary employees are your elected officials. When the Declaration says that a nation can only be ruled by the consent of the governed, the consent of the governed is me and you if you're a citizen, that our consent to your rule is an election. You have to be accountable to be removed. Everything you do has to be known by an elected representative that I send some kind of way. But this is the major, at least from this angle, this is the major takeaway of this UFO cover-up is not even about what it is and who the intelligence is behind the UFOs and the covering up of that, the technology, and that's all bad, right? That's all very sad. And the motivations behind the intelligence behind what's going on. I don't think we even know that. We don't know if it's what kind of motivation there is, or what kind of goals that there are, and what are they doing. Besides all that, the biggest, most pressing concern for me as an American citizen is my country's dead. It's dead and gone. Because there are more than a few, not just one instance, and not just one time, and not just under one president or something like that, where you could say, oh, it's all political. You're just after this because whatever. And then it was finished after 4 years, and, let's just move on. Don't relitigate the past or something like that. It's multi-decade after decade after decade, and it's still there. So it spans every party, every ideology, every president, every Congress, every Supreme Court. They think they're above all of them. If there is any program, anything, forget the president being notified and this and that. You would think he or she would be, but apparently you're not. But that's the executive branch being jerky with its own self, with the executive branch. The Pentagon, the military, the intelligence, this is all executive branch. It's not legislature, right? It's not the Congress. The Congress has to know. It has to know every program you have, every one. Yes. You say, oh, they can't be trusted, this and that. They're going to leak this. That's why the Gang of Eight was created. Those 8 people are sworn to know and not say if it's really classified. They have to approve it. They have to be told why it's necessary. They have to be told how much money is being spent on it. This is what David Grush was talking about. There is multi-decade, multi-billions, maybe even trillions of dollars, not known where it goes, which my money, that's the country's money, spent on programs that we don't know about. That's not legal. And beyond not legal, it's unethical, it's immoral, it's anti-American, it's all that stuff, but it's proof. If it happens one time for one day, if you have one program that operates for one day outside of telling Congress about it, the country is over. And no one does anything about it. Nobody cares enough. No, maybe you're afraid. Maybe you made them afraid by threatening to throw them in Leavenworth or to kill them, to hurt their family. This is true also. This is what's happened. It's ongoing. Don't blab, otherwise it's too important. This national security state is too important to keep out of the hands of these temporary employees and, God forbid, the public. There's a doggone Cold War type arms race going on right now behind your back between Russia, China, and the United States, at least those 3. To what? Is it nuclear weapons? Nope. Space weapons? No. UFOs. To recover UFOs and to break their technology to use as super weapons against each other. That's it. It's disgusting. But in Russia and China, they don't have to. At least I guess they pretend in Russia that there's some kind of elections or accountability. Even though Mr. Putin won't leave after 24 years now. That slimeball, warmonger, non-Christian Vladimir Putin. Yeah, he's still. At least they lie about trying to be accountable there, but China doesn't lie. I mean, they're communists, and that's it. They want the money that comes with capitalism to make everyone rich, but other than that, they know they control everything, government-wise, so they don't have to tell anybody anything. That's fine. But we're different. We're supposed to be in America, right? This is supposed to be different. We have accountability. We have accountability to leaders. The civilians are supposed to control the military. That's part of the deal. I am sorry. That's a tenet of our country, is the civilian population does not get told by the military what to do. It's the opposite. But again, this particular group, and I'm not saying everyone in the military or anything like that, it's comparatively a very small group. But guess what? If you go along with these SAPs and USAPs and WUSAPs and CAPs and all this other junk, and you don't speak up and you go along with it, you're part of the problem. America has been destroyed. I don't know what we're trying to save, because we don't care enough. Look how long this has gone on. Just the past 12 months. We've had these open hearings. We've had legislation passed and then gutted. Leaves the Senate in one form, can't get through the House because bribery and threats and whoever knows whatever else. A fake part of the Defense Department called Arrow. I mean, you name it. Nothing really has changed at all. Yeah, okay, there's some new laws last year. Great. It's supposed to everything about UAPs, UFOs are supposed to be turned over to the National Archives by October. That's why some people like Danny Sheehan are talking about October's a major, this is it, we're going to have disclosure by October. Bull. They don't care about the law. Don't you get it? Even in the law, it says, well, you don't actually have to turn over your stuff to the archives if you say it's for national security reasons. What are we doing here? We're playing games. We're not serious. So that's why I say national security has destroyed America. It's not securing us. It's not protecting us. We have no control of our airspace, no control of our seas, no control of our defense. In the name of national security, we are unsecure and destroyed. It's already done. There's nothing to salvage. Really. In fact, when I don't want to get all whatever religious on people who aren't here for that. I don't care. I am who I am, right? When the Lord spoke to me in 2012, after the election that year, it brought me out of politics forever, told me specifically, okay, if you don't know what the Holy Spirit is, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But he says, what are you trying to save, basically? The America you think that exists doesn't. They don't want what you want. In fact, it basically doesn't exist. It's a mirage. It's a shadow. Anyway. So, realization that's hard to accept, maybe. But that's the reality and the truth, and it ain't going to change. We could plug our ears up and sing, Whistling Past the Graveyard your whole life if you want. Doesn't change the facts of the matter. All right, let's hear some questions by you guys, and maybe we'll get some more convo here. From India, Pastor Manti, USA has some secret deadly weapons that no other nations know about. That's correct. In fact, and how do I say that? Because I don't know what they are. Is it directed energy weapons, like that type of stuff? Maybe. But it was confirmed again, even by Ross Coulthart in his speaking over years to people in the defense industry and in the intelligence industry that have told him that, yeah, this is about weaponry. What is your view of the April 8th solar eclipse in the USA? Obviously, that already happened. Is it a warning from God against the United States, just like he gave the warning to ancient Assyrian Empire? No. I mean, I don't see how. And we kind of went through that back in April. By the way, a big no thank you to the weather pattern that day. It was cloudy the whole day. I can barely get any pictures of the eclipse right over my house, and could hardly get anything. Anyways, and some folks were saying, just like what you are, Uncle, that it was a sign of something, a sign of judgment or a warning. Well, when you say the warning he gave to the ancient Assyrians, you're talking about Jonah. And basically gave them a warning to repent, or else I'm going to wipe your country out, your empire. And so we sent a prophet to tell them that in advance. And they accepted it. They heard from the prophet. They said, whoa, you're a prophet of Israel, talking about the God of Israel, wiping us out. What did we do? Or, okay, I guess this is serious. The whole country repented from the king on down. It was an official government decree. So if it was a warning from God, I don't know who the prophet was who was sent to Joe Biden, because that would be analogous. Right? Doesn't matter if they went on YouTube. They had to go to the leadership. They had to go to the Senate, the House, Supreme Court, Joe Biden, etc. Tell them, God said this. This is what's going to happen on this date. This is what's going to happen. And if you don't repent, this is going to be the result. And so you have to lead a national repentance. Right? Then, maybe. But none of that happened. And certainly, now that it's April, 2 months later, I can't. If it is, a sign of what? We have to know what it's a sign. A sign has to come before the event. right? Like, you can't just be like, oh, a road sign that's in a different language that I can't read. That doesn't help me. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a sign of anything, because what is it? What was the sign of? He says, I agree. The USA is no longer a republic democracy, but there is a secret cabal that governs the country. Yeah, and I don't even like to say it that way, because that's very QAnon. Okay, that's very crazy. I mean, this is conspiracy thinking, secret cabals running this and that. I really don't want to say that, because that could mean anything. And I'm not coming down on you, brother. That's why I don't use those phrases, because they've been used for years and years and years to apply to absolutely everything. Everything you don't like, or things or conspiracies that you hear about, all of a sudden is now a secret cabal controls the information and controls the government. Like, I need friggin' evidence. Give me data. Show me proof of why there's why is there a secret? Show me the documents. Show me the comments, of leaders. Show me the contradictory, what's the real truth versus what we're being told, all that stuff. The UFO issue has all that. None of those other things do. Maybe JFK assassination. That's about all I've ever seen that's credible. American Republic is dead. Some people now predict the rise of American Caesar in the near future, just like how the Roman Republic gave way to the Roman Empire. It's possible. We've got a very incredibly terrible election choice coming up. It's the worst. You think? I thought 2016 was the worst. This may actually be worse, because you've got two octogenarians who are losing their mind, literally. One is going into dementia, Joe Biden, and one is going into crazy town and should be in the psych ward, Donald Trump. So that's your choice. And the third party, I don't know if Kennedy is going to make any noise or not. He might get a heck of a lot of votes, but at the end of the day, they're not going to let him participate in debates. They're not going to make it, like the two-party system defend itself rapidly. So I doubt Mr. Kennedy's going to win anything. But yeah, will we choose a Caesar in the future? Perhaps. I mean, look, to me, it's a choice. You want socialism or do you want fascism? I don't want either one. Thank you very much. Speaking, and there goes my light. Okay. Hopefully you can still see okay out there. I don't want either one of those. I really don't. And Mr. Trump sure seems like he would be just fine with being a Caesar. So no, I don't want that. Anyway, that's our choice. And Ross Coulthart, which what I started talking about, led off the show with today. I encourage you to go listen to it. I didn't link to it, but it's very good. I shared a clip on my channels this morning from it about how basically he talks about the weapons that have been developed from the UAP recovery programs. And then if we don't do something about it, he says, why isn't this the most, if you know the truth of the matter, if you know the facts of it, if you know the cover up, if you know the threats, if you know the ongoing efforts, even though there's completely lying about it, if you know all that, how could it not be your number one election issue? How could you as a citizen, obviously I'm not talking to, our Indian brother here, because he's not a citizen of my country, but he has his own. But for you Americans, if you're not going to make this the number one election issue, it's your fault. You get what you deserve. You want another 60 years plus of cover-ups and lies about this and let a secret government run the show? You're choosing it. You're not going to push back. And if there's anyone out there who really feels like, okay, what do I do about it? The best thing to do, if you're in the United States and you really want to pressure politicians into making a change or making a difference on this and bringing it up and getting disclosure that you want, wherever you live, your district in your state, okay, you go to your representative, preferably in person, to Washington. Hey, hello, Zulu Alpha Charlie Kilo. In caps, he says, okay, so what do you suggest to be done? Well, I'm telling you. If assuming you're an American citizen, Zulu, Zach, hey, Zach, what's up, dude? I get it, Z-A-C-K. Do you? Yeah, so you go to your representative in the Congress, preferably in person. Phone call is the next best. Person to person. You call your representative's office. You have one for your district where you live, your actual home address. You have a representative in the United States Congress, and you also have 2 senators. Contact them, whoever they are. Doesn't matter what party they're in. Doesn't matter what they believe on anything else. If this is important to you, contact them directly and tell them this is an election issue for you. You're telling everyone you know you are passionate about it. This secrecy and these lies and this national security state has got to be dismantled. The disclosure has to happen. Whatever you want to say, make it your own words and tell them. And tell them over and over and over. And get anyone who agrees, who lives in your district, to go with you. Show of force. Look, I was in the, if you know anything about me, I was in politics. I was in the organization of support and grassroots to get people elected for a few years. And I can tell you, U.S. Senate candidate, presidential candidates, all right, I was on those teams, I was in those meetings. And the best thing you can do, trust me on this, is not complain, but go to your representatives. If you live in Ohio, don't call the representative from Florida, for example. Okay? They'll take your call, but they're not going to care because you don't vote for them. You're not representing you. A senator, same thing. Like, okay, well, you're not in my state. If I'm nice, I'll hear you out, but that's it. They really don't care. Or they're not going to act on it before people who actually live there talk to them, right? The president, okay, he is supposed to represent everyone. But anyway, go to your local rep, call them on the phone, or go to their office in person. You can go. You can go to Capitol Hill. If you're near or whatever. But anyway, that's what you can do. I know it's not appealing. It's not whatever. But there's really no other way. Unless there's some major world event that speaks to their minds directly. Like, oh my gosh, they see this disaster, or they see this crisis, or they see this big event in the world. Now they're listening. Like a 9/11 style, or you know what I mean? What if it's not the national security apparatus in America that discloses what we know and ends the secrecy and, it says, oh, our fault on this. We want to actually save the country, so we're going to make it right or something. Assuming that doesn't happen, what if China does it first? They have a program. They have recovered materials. They know what's up. So does Russia. What if Russia says it first? And says, yeah, we know what's going on. Here's the deal. Here's what we know. Here's what we actually have: dead pilots. We have craft. We have material. We have technologies. We have free energy for the world now because we figured out how this works through this anti-gravitational thing. I don't know. Any of that. What if another country does it first? And by the way, we, the awesome Russian people, are telling the world because the Americans are liars and are deceiving the whole world. And they'd be right. Right? So that's bad. That's why we should do it. They'll react to that. Your senator and congressman and your president will react to Russia or China revealing it before us. What if the power or intelligence behind the UFO issue, what if they force the issue? What if they provoke something? What if they create an incident? What if they have create a crisis? Who knows what? Could be anything, right? Landing on the White House lawn. That's the famous expression. What if something like that happens? A black swan event. What if they initiate it? All those things are what's called catastrophic disclosure. That's what the intelligence and the military in your United States call catastrophic disclosure. It's a catastrophe because we don't control it. It's controlled disclosure, quote unquote, is what the people who do want it even are calling it. That's what we should do, is controlled disclosure. It's either keep the secret or disclose it. And if you do disclose it, how's it going to be done? Your choice. And again, we believe in God, and He's in control of all this. And ultimately in control, but mankind has the free will to do what they're going to do up until the end. Mokul says, Americans are lucky to have the option of contacting their elected representatives. Here, we normal everyday folk dare not approach our elected representatives. Well, that's too bad. He's talking about in India. And India has, 5 times the population, I guess? Something like that as America, with the same size country. So your vote, as it were, is 5 times less important in India. Could China or Russia use their secret weapons from UAP technology to Iran? To give them to Iran? Yes. Very scary possibility indeed. This could set off Daniel 8. Exactly. Yeah, I think I talked about this at some point. Yeah, that's what we call non-human weapons, or I'm working on a follow-up book, by the way, a project called I'm trying to find the non-human weapon / preternatural technology. Preternatural technology. Preparing the Way is going to be the book. So preternatural technology, in other words, I don't want to hesitate to call it supernatural. That would infer God or even the devil. But if it's preternatural, it's part of nature, but seemingly impossible. Or so far beyond what we know or can create. That would be something preternatural. Like, I don't know, going through space and time, creating a wormhole. Like if you had an ability or a weapon, weaponize that, where you didn't, I don't know, for example, you didn't have to shoot your bullet or your missile through space over 10,000 miles to reach your target. You could just open up a hole and get it there instantaneously. For example, just using that aspect. Forget the energy that would be available if these things you see zipping around in the sky, the energy required to, create these fields, anti-gravity or whatever, to be able to propel around like that, you would think the energy would be massive. And some folks have done the math on this, and it's like not even hardly conceivable. Like one little UAP, one little flying disc doing its crazy things, the energy that took could power the entire Earth. Like that's how much energy we're talking about. So you could use it to power the Earth and put your lights on, like mine apparently needs it right now. Or you could shoot and make an explosion out of it. A nuclear weapon, a hydrogen bomb or whatever, all that is using the atom at the atomic level, atomic bomb, to create energy and unleash the energy of those atoms. So depending on your goal, that massive amount of energy from a vehicle, let's say, or a craft of some kind, whatever it is, however it works, if you could figure that out, or if you're given the information, whether by Russia or China or by the architects themselves, if you're told how to use it, or just here, use this, like somebody just gives you a nuke, right? I mean, just as a way to think of it. If somebody just gives you this crazy new, like you go to, I don't know, 5,000 years ago, I don't know, the time of David, right? David and Goliath. David beat Goliath with a stone, and the best stuff they had then was a sword or a catapult, or you know what I mean? But you show up with an Apache helicopter or a laser weapon to, you know what I'm saying, to Goliath? Do you know what I'm saying? It would be no contest. So far beyond what you think is possible. That's definitely something you could extrapolate from Revelation 6 and the second seal and this great sword that this horseman gets. And that just happens to correspond to, yes, the Iranian or Persian Empire in the book of Daniel, having this massive military victory, fast, complete, no one could resist them, they rolling over everyone because they have some kind of weapon that no one can fight against. That makes a lot of sense. And following up on that thought, before I even read it, very good follow-up. Mokul says, if Iran gets a super UAP tech-based weapon / a great sword, right, exactly, from Russia or China, then how does Yavan, Turkey, defeat Iran in Daniel 8? They may be given the same tech by another source, let's say America, for example. Or from the architects themselves. It's just a supposition, right? But that's a way. Because now you're evenly matched with the weaponry, but Turkey's forces, let's say, are far bigger, especially if they have better stuff, for sure. I mean, like regular military equipment and Air Force and all that stuff. Plus you throw in, they are NATO countries still, believe it or not, somehow. If this attack on Turkey by Iran, could be an Article 5 NATO situation. So there's that. So if you have an equal weapon now and a far superior force, you can see how they would be defeated. Again, just hypothesizing, real or theorizing based on what we know and what is probable. All right, very good questions. All right, friends. If there's nothing else, we're gonna wrap it up. Zach, where'd you go, man? You still there? So hopefully this has spoken to you. Maybe it rattled your cage a little bit. That's good. That's all right. That's good. Again, we need your support to continue. Please go to patreon.com/wingsofthe-eagle if you want to get something back for your giving. If you want to be a part of a community, if you want to support the work that we're doing, maybe you want to take a class, maybe you want to support us other ways, go to that page and do that. Or if you just want to give because it's the right thing to do and you feel like this podcast should be supported, then go to wingsoftheeagle.com/support unsealed. Give right there. Okay, fair enough. All right, so once again, national security destroyed America. I really believe that. I don't know if I ever used that sentence in my life, but it's become clear that it's true. It's not a future. It's not a prediction. It's a past. It's a fact. It's a done deal. America doesn't exist as what we think it does. If there's any group, remember, if there's any group for any purpose under national security reasons or whatever reasons, if there's ever programs and activities and monies, billions and trillions of dollars of monies being thrown at programs that we are not admitted to and are not being told to Congress, country's over. You got a new version. You got a new America Part 2 that no one is going to like. And it's like a parallel universe now where Joe Schmo, American patriot over here like me, is just supposed to accept it and think that anyone who says that there's a national security state or trying to keep UFO secrets is crazy. That's what I'm supposed to think. Sorry, but I rebel against that. All right. Well, Mokul's got great questions. Let's address the rest of them here before we go. The Antichrist Empire consists of the territory of Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece. The lion, the bear, the leopard. So Iraq, Syria, Turkey. That's it. And then Egypt after that. So those three lion, bear, leopard nations are essentially Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria. That is the core of the empire. Yes. And then Egypt is the fourth piece. Revelation 13, Daniel 7. That's right. Thank you. Thank God. There's a student out there of mine who listens. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult anybody there. But yes, I've been blue in the face teaching that for a decade now. Yes, and I'm not the only one. I'm not trying to be an ego trip on y'all, but yes, if you want to look for the final empire, what the Bible says, what God is actually going to do, and what nations are going to be involved, and what not to look at. Don't look at Russia. Don't look at America. Don't look at China. Look at where he says, and this is going to be the final empire of the age. We know where it is and who their enemy is. It's not American Christians. All right, it's not Ukraine. Etc. Okay. All right, guys. This is good. I hope we spur some conversation. Leave your question below in the comments, especially if you're on the Wings of the Eagle YouTube channel. Love to hear from you there. And on X, spread the love as well. Again, support us if you can. Till next time, I'm Christopher. Hopefully your brother in Christ, but definitely in disclosure. Right? That's worth it. All right. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.